Schumann's background was middle-class, provincial, unremarkable. The seeds of his development into a great romantic composer, as well as his later crises, emotional and professional, can be traced in the history preserved in the Robert Schumann House, a beautifully maintained museum reconstructed on the site of the original family home in the town of Zwickau in Saxony. He was born on the 8th of June, 1810, the youngest of 5 children. There were 3 older brothers and a sister, Emilia, 14 years older than Robert, who suffered from a severe nervous illness. Robert was petted and adored by his mother, Johanna Christiana, the daughter of Abraham Gottlob Schnabel, the chief surgeon of Zeitz. Johanna was prone to melancholia and regularly took cures at the famous Bohemian spa of Karlsbad, now Karlovy Vary, 55 miles south of Zwickau. She was considered a good singer with a large repertoire of songs popular at the time. August Schumann, Robert's father, was the son of a poor country parson from the small town of Enschutz near Gera. August burned with literary and intellectual ambition, but was forced by the family's poverty to leave school at 14. He longed to study at the University of Leipzig, and managed a few months there as an auditor. His early life was a series of frustrations and compromises. He was apprenticed to a local merchant and later worked as a clerk for a bookseller. He set up his own business to convince Johanna's father, with whom he lodged, that he would be able to support a wife. Somehow he preserved his literary ambitions. He wrote and published Potboilers, romances of knights and monks in the style of Gothic novels, and he founded a circulating library. A few years later, he moved with his brother to Zwickau and established a publishing and bookselling firm, the Brothers Schumann. Along with lexicons and commercial handbooks, the firm published inexpensive German translations of the classics and a pocket edition of the most eminent English authors, including novels by Sir Walter Scott and the poems of Lord Byron. August himself translated Byron's comic verse tale Beppo and Childe Harold's Pilgrimage, Byron's semi-autobiographical verse romance. August Schumann had a special relationship with his gifted son. He encouraged Robert's literary and musical talents and was determined to ensure that his son would not have to repeat his own history of frustrated ambition. The boy was always a scribbler, writing poetry, stories, and plays, improvising at the piano, composing ambitious musical scores from an early age. As a 14-year-old, Robert helped provide material for his father's publications, including a picture gallery of famous men of all times and places, perhaps suggesting to Robert that he, too, could one day achieve great things. August had political as well as literary enthusiasms. He sympathized with the ideals of the French Revolution and regarded Napoleon as a liberator until he assumed the imperial crown and embarked on the conquest of Europe. His father's liberal tastes influenced Robert's lifelong passion for Byron and his sympathy with the revolutions that swept Europe in 1830 and 1848 to 1849. August was also a loving and indulgent father. In a letter to his 14-year-old son, he writes that he is pleased to learn from Robert's older brother, Edward, that the boy is doing well in his studies. He hopes that he will continue to practice on the fine Streicher piano which his father has recently purchased for him. He appreciates Robert's concern about his sister, Emilia, whose condition is not improving under the latest treatment. He proposes that Robert might consider visiting his father in Karlsbad rather than traveling to Dresden with his teacher, the Zwickau organist Gottfried Kunsch. He ends with fatherly advice. Now, Robert, dear, live properly, remain cheerful, take care of your health, and either travel with Kunsch to Dresden or come here. In the second case, I shall await you with heartfelt longing. On an earlier visit to Karlsbad with his mother, Robert heard the great pianist Ignaz Moscheles perform, an inspiration to the youngster who treasured the program long into his later life. Emilia died in 1825, aged 28, officially from a nervous attack, according to later accounts, by drowning herself or throwing herself from a window, in an access of quiet madness. A year after Amelia's death, August Schumann died suddenly, probably suffering a heart attack, though his death was also attributed to a long-standing severe nervous illness. He left his wife, 3 grown sons who inherited the publishing business, and young Robert, who at 16 was put under the care of a guardian, Johann Gottlob Rudel. His father's will provided a yearly annuity on condition that Robert pursue a 3-year course of university study, his father's unfulfilled ambition. A biography of August, published soon after his death, praised his services as an author and publisher, his selfless devotion to family and friends, and his hope that his talented youngest son might pursue his studies unencumbered by the poverty he himself had experienced as a young man.